Welcome, my name is Kevin Brandon, and in this video what I want to show you is how to create an interactive website navigation using Figma. So in this instance here, I have two web pages. I want them to link together. I want to have a hover effect. I want to have, when they're on a different page, that the navigation indicates what page you're on in the main navigation. So I'm going to zoom in on the first home page here, and this is part of the main navigation. And what I've done is I've designed the look of the text, the size, the font, the color that I want. And basically, if you click on this, it's just simply text. So in the layer here, you just see text. There's no interaction on this at all. So if I want to create interaction, I need to make this a component. So I'm simply going to copy what I have here, the word water, go to my main components page, and inside this section, I'm simply going to paste the water. Now you may notice that white on white doesn't exactly give me a strong contrast. So I'm going to select my selection here, and I'm going to change this to be a little bit darker. So my section now has a dark background. It will not impact the navigation at all. It just gives me some higher contrast so that I can see what I'm looking at. If I zoom in on this, Shift 2 allows me to zoom in on what I have. I'm just going to update the text here and just make sure it's the way I want it. So layout, yes, I want it to be auto width. And I want this to be centered text. So whenever I add text, if it's smaller or longer words, that is going to fit inside here without a problem. What else do I want to do? Oh, I know what I want to do. I want to create a dot over top of this. So there's many ways that you can create interactions in different designs and different styles for your navigation. Maybe I want a rectangle behind the text, or maybe I want a diamond above or below the text, or an underline or a circle. In this case here, with water, I'm going to try and create a circle. So I'm going to grab my ellipse tool here, and I'm simply going to click and drag an ellipse, and I'm going to change that fill color to be something that's a little bit lighter, so a light blue of some kind. Give the idea of water, and there it is. I'm going to make sure I select the water along with the ellipse, and let's just make sure I center line it so everything is perfect the way I want it to be. Great, so this is the start. Now what I want to do is I need to create it as a main component, then I can create some variants to show me when somebody hovers or when it's a selection, I can change those. So I'm going to first of all create a main component. So inside of my properties panel here, I'm going to click create component. And there it is. There's my component one. And I'm going to change this to be like nav main. I'm also going to select the water inside of here. And if you watch the other videos, you know I'm going to go over to my properties panel in the text area, click the polygon icon to apply a new property. And the property text water sounds good to me. Let's create that property, which will make my ability to change the text in the navigation easier. All right. It's purple, it's highlighted, that means that I've done it correctly. So I've got this main navigation created, and now I want to create a variant. So the first variant is going to be what the hover looks like, and I'm going to create another variant, and that's going to be what the selected. So if I'm on a page, this is what the page looks like, the selected page. So in terms of the navigation here, I'm going to add some interaction by going to the default one here, and just selecting this and changing this from property 1 to be state, because I think that makes more sense to me. I'm going to click the second variant here and change it from variant 2 to be called hover. So I know that when somebody hovers over, that's what it's going to look like. And the last one is going to be selected. So when I'm on a page, this is a selected page, that's what I'm going to show on that page. Now I'm going to work on the droplet at the top here. So to begin with, I need to have it there so I can change the appearance to be 0. So by default, it has nothing on it. When I come into the hover state, what I want to do is definitely have that water, have the water droplet, like a solid fill. And then I'm going to come down to the bottom here, and I'm going to change this. Let's copy the color here, and I'm going to add a stroke to this. So I basically want to remove the fill, add a stroke. There we go. And I'm going to simply remove that. There we go. Increase that by, let's say, maybe 2. Make it a little bit thicker, the stroke. So there we go. So I've got the design kind of created. 1, 2, and 3. Now I need to add the interactions. So basically I'm going to interact with the hover here, and I'm not going to do the state one because the selected state, I'm going to show you why I'm going to not do that as a link or an interaction in just a minute. So I've got the first selected. I'm going to go to my prototype, and then I'm going to add an interaction to my first navigation. And this is going to be while hovering. The action is going to be changed to, and I'm going to change it to the hover. And let's make a smart animate so it's got some little animation there for me. And that's all I need to do right now. I'm going to then change where it says water, and let's change that to be my design, water. There's the water here. and there's text, and I can say, great, there's the text. So it's going to work. I'm going to change this to be something else as I work through this. So whatever the title needs to be. In the prototype now, so I've got the interaction set up. I can simply go and say, I want to go to my assets panel, and there's the water. So if you don't see this right away, click the created in this file. There's water, and I'm simply going to drag this out. And you'll notice that the water doesn't have that gray background. It shows it in the assets panel, but it doesn't have it because it's not part of the interaction. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit and grab that water, and there's the water here. I'm going to place it over top. Good, move it over slightly. And I'm going to delete the word water here and drag this water over there. All right, so the water works really well right now, and now I want to put it over top of the event. So I'm simply going to hold my Option key and drag this out, and I'm going to delete the word events, the original one, and I'm going to take this water now, and I'm going to simply change the water to make sure that this says events for me. So again, by just selecting this in the properties panel, I can see that it says default, and it says water, and I can change this to be events. There you go. And I can do the exact same thing for location and everything else. But this is just kind of proof of concept. So I've got the information here. And now when I Shift 1, let's view everything. If I go to home view, I'm going to go and click on the drop down menu to present. It's going to open up in a new tab for me. I just want to see, does the interaction actually work? So when I show it in the preview to begin with from Figma, when I move up to the navigation, I get this Figma UI. I'm simply going to click on the settings menu and choose hide UI, and now it won't come up when I move to the top. So now when I go over to water, perfect. In events, perfect. So I've got the little dot happening there, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I can add to the other ones as well. So when somebody hovers over here, there's a little interaction that says, hey, a micro interaction telling me that something's going to happen if I click on this. Perfect. So I've got the interactions now working here. Now what I want to do is I'm simply going to finish off this navigation at the top here. So I'm going to say locations is not one yet. I'm going to delete you and about, and then I'm going to delete the word contact as well. So I'm going to simply drag this over, and I'm going to say, locations, select this, change this to be locations, duplicate this again, and let's change this to be about, and one more time for the contact. There you go. So I've got the navigation titles created. I'm going to select all three of them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my 5 total navigation titles. I zoom out. That's kind of the location I want them, but maybe not the spacing is great. So I'm simply going to do Shift A, and Shift A will give me the exact same spacing between everything, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So now it gives me even spacing. I'm simply going to copy this because I've got this navigation created. Zoom out again, Shift 1, go over to my water, Shift 2, and I'm going to paste. And when I have that selected, that frame, when I paste things, it pastes it in the exact same X and Y coordinates. So I know this is going to work exactly the way I want it. I'm going to zoom in here on the navigation titles. And because this is the water page, I'm simply going to select the water. And now what I can do is over in my properties panel, I can change it from default to hover to selected. I'm simply going to say selected, and now it changes it to look like this water is selected here. So I can go back over here and I can zoom in, Shift 2, and I can select water. And in this case here, I'm going to go to prototype and start to link them. So in prototype, I'm going to add an interaction, and this says on click. So instead of the hover, when somebody actually clicks on it, change the action to be navigate to. So I'm not changing. Change to is within the main component. Navigate to will tell me to go to a different frame, and I'm going to choose water, and I'm going to do it instantly. Perfect. So if that's all set up, I'm going to just make sure that they link back and forth. And a lot of people know that the logo in the top left-hand corner is going to be my connection. So into the file menu, I'm going to just make sure inside the header here, I'll drag my frame through. This is going to be my navigation, nav main. I'm going to unlock the logo here, select my logo. And again, in the prototype, simply add the interaction, click on click, navigate to, and let's go back to the home and do it instantly. That sounds good. All right. So now that I've got some of the navigation set up, you can see going back and forth between the two pages, again, proof of concept. If I select my home page and go and choose present, again, once it presents, when I go up to the top, the Figma UI is going to be there. Click on the settings and let's just hide that UI. And now when I hover over anything, water, events, locations, about, contact, it all works perfectly the way I want the hover to work. I'm going to go to water. And when I go to water, instantly this displays, and I know if I go over events, locations, about, everything works the exact way that I want it to. I want to go back to the home page, so I'll click the logo, and I go back to the home page, and everything works the exact way I want it to. All right, so hopefully that's just one example of how you can create interaction for a main navigation for a website using Figma. Hopefully that solves the problem that you may have had with Figma or gives you new ideas of how to create navigation inside of Figma. Thank you. Have a great day.